Hi everyone, my name is Morgan and this is Lovely Reading. So today I am going to be wrapping up my January reads. As of filming, today is January 29th, so I do have a possibility of finishing at least one more book and possibly starting and finishing another book. But for right now, I have read a total of 10 books for the month of January. One of those books was a reread and one of the books was a HarperCollins. So I'm only going to be talking about a total of 9 books in this video. If there are any additional books that I do read for the end of January, you'll probably end up hearing about those in my February wrap-up. So let's go ahead and get into the books. Since this is my first wrap-up and I don't know what kind of order that I want to go in with these, we are just going to go in the order that I read them, since that was the order they came up on Goodreads. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. So the first book that I read is A Season for Spies. This is by Golden Angel. Now this one is actually the final book in a series, and I did not read any of the previous books in the series besides the prequel novella that is specifically for this story for this couple. But personally, I don't feel like I had an issue reading the last book in the series, like getting the grasp of what was going on. I think the most important thing was that I read that novella prior to reading this book, so I feel like I was fine. In this one is a historical romance with heavy BDSM elements. So with this one, our hero is a spy for the English and he is currently stationed in France. So he is working as a spy, and our female main character is actually the niece of the spy master. So he doesn't want her working in the family business, but she decides that she's going to get involved, and she actually runs away to France and is undercover. She finds out that there is a scheme to capture our spy, and she ends up like thwarting the coup to capture him. And the setup for this was that he was supposed to meet his contact at a brothel, and so she poses as a worker at said brothel. So the distraction, because he doesn't leave in time, so they're like, okay, better make it look real. And she makes it look pretty real, especially when the soldiers burst in the room and get a nice old faceful. And then once the soldiers leave, he's like, okay, now we got to finish it what we started. Now, this is like everything that happens, everything that I've just talked about is what happens in the prequel novella. So again, like I said, pretty important to read it. It actually happens like a couple of years before they're reconnected and involved in the final book. This one is a mystery where they're trying to solve who has this conspiracy basically against the crown, and they're trying to figure out who is behind it throughout this series. So I think in this one is like they know who's behind it, now they're just trying to capture the guy. So that's the majority of this book, is them trying to locate this person. So you get a lot of the other couples who have been in the series. Again, like I said, I don't feel like I had an issue not reading the previous books, but I do plan at some point going back and reading the other books in the series. It just wasn't available on KU, and I specifically wanted to read about this couple. So that was the reason that why I just went ahead and went into this one. This one I did rate 4.5 stars. I loved it. Like, I really enjoyed the characters. I loved how bratty our heroine is, and our hero is just so reluctantly in love with her, and it's really good. Super spicy. Like I said, it's heavy on the BDSM elements, so do be aware of that going into it. I don't know how well the representation of those elements is in these books. I know that Golden Angel has a lot of focus on that in her books, but the ones that I have read from her, my main issue is that they're doing these things, but they don't at no time are like any safe words or any of that established, and they aren't having like discussions before going into these like sexual encounters. So those are pretty much what my issues were, and I did take half a star off for the ending of the book because that was just unnecessary. So for tropes in this one, we have there is a sex club. This is a second chance because again they're reunited. This is one night stands. They become sex friends. They are spies. There's the mystery. He's a very possessive hero. He's also a protective hero, and she won't let him protect her. There is secret identity. We have sex work. There's a work relationship going on because they're both technically working as spies. And then it is actually a sibling's best friend. So actually it's cousin's best friend, not sibling. And then for content warnings, we have heavy kink. There is spanking and exhibition, voyeurism. Again, like I said, I didn't like that there was a lack of safe word. And then there are mentions of death, murder, and rape. So be aware of that with that one. My second book for January was Gym Bunny by Brianna Hale. Now, this one is a recommendation that I got from Tamika a really long time ago, and it's been on my KU for forever. With Read What You Own going on right now, this is one book that I was like, okay, let's just go ahead and read it. Especially after I saw Brie at In Love and Words pick it up, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this. And it was super cute. It was exactly what I wanted from it. This is again me not reading the first book in the series. This is the second of 2 books that are in this Dom Fitness series. So the premise of these books is that the male main characters work at a gym called Dom Fitness, where the employees are doms. So the trainers are doms, and they use like dom sub relationships in training the the customers who come in for fitness training. So there are they are heavily regulated with what they're permitted to do with their customers. Everything is on consent. Like they're having the important discussions. This one is also really nice because we have a plus size heroine who she isn't going to the gym to lose weight, and her trainer is not pushing her to lose weight. She just wants to basically improve her overall health. So he helps her improve her eating, and just her fitness is focusing on making her stronger, not in changing her body at any. So I thought it was super sweet. Our hero is adorable for being a alpha dom. Like, he was just super sweet, and he is heavy on the praise and loving her body and like her being a good girl. Like it was super cute. It's very short. I think it's under 100 pages. But I do highly recommend this one. I didn't pick up the first one. I didn't have any interest in it. I just really liked the hero in this one, so I thought it was super cute. For tropes on this one, we have BDSM, daddy dom, little girl, and it is insta love. Like I said, it's pretty short, and they have like a pretty instant attraction. So for content warnings on this one, we have our female main character had a previous relationship with a dom who was abusive to her, so she does have some PTSD from that relationship, and she does have panic attacks on page because of flashbacks to feeling like the main male character Trey is going to be like her ex just because he is a dom. So be aware of those. On to my third read. This one was Found by the Lake Monster. This one is by Lillian Lark. This one, I believe, is an addition into her Bathhouse series. So with this one, it is really short. It's like short, like just over 100 pages. Lillian Lark is heavily a Breaking Case of Emergency author for me, just because I know that I'm going to love her books, so I save them for when I really need them. And this book came to me at the perfect time for me to read it because I was having a very, very bad time, and it was able to distract me enough from what was going on to get me in a much better headspace, because I was just able to focus on the book and how cute the characters were, and how spicy and fun this one was. So with this one, obviously our hero is a lake monster, and our main female character, she is on a cryptid hunting expedition, and she's with these people who are trying to find a lake monster, and she just got wrapped up in going on this hunting expedition with them, even though she has no interest with lake monsters besides sexy times with her toys at home that are non-human shaped. So when she actually stumbles upon the lake monster, she gets super excited. She's like, oh, okay, like, and she goes headlong into this one night stand situation with him that she stumbled upon. So our lake monster actually goes into heat, and in this situation he has contacted the bathhouse, the Love Bathhouse, and the bathhouse has a matchmaker. So he asked the matchmaker to find him a partner for the night because of his heat. He also is I don't know how to explain it really, besides like he has the egg and would put the egg inside the female body for them to carry the young. So he is basically going into heat, and in those heats it's the only time that this process can happen. He thinks that this is going to be his last heat, so if he doesn't get a partner that he works with, he may never be able to have children. So definite content warning on this one, with talks of possible infertility and just fertility issues in general, and descriptions of that, like the insertion. So just be aware that it's in there. Read safely. On this one, now our heroine is not the person that was set up to be his mate for the night. So she is essentially lying to him, but she ends up really liking him. She wants to spend time with him, and she wants to be able to be there for him. And when he finds out that his date actually canceled on him, then we get like a little bit of drama, but overall, like, I think this was super cute. They were a super cute relationship. Again, it's insta love, but I don't like waiting. Like, I don't mind them being instantly into each other, because they can grow and develop additional relationships and feelings later. So I really enjoyed this one, and I am excited to read the book that actually talks about the witch who was supposed to be meeting him that night, where she apparently gets abducted by a werewolf. So hopefully I will be reading that one in February. So the next book that I read is going to be Molly, and this one was by a Crystal Vetch. This one I gave 3.5 stars. Our main male character is a tattoo artist, so he's a big buff tattooed guy. And then we have our female main character is a single mom. It's age gap, he's quite a bit older than her, and they just have this instant connection. Overall, I enjoyed it. I liked the characters when they were getting along, having a good time together. I am a sucker for scenes where you have the other person with the other person's kids. So when you have the partner with the single parent's kids and you have those cute interactions, like we had a ton of those in this book, and I love those scenes. So those were like the parts that I liked of it, and it was relatively spicy. But then we had the parts that I didn't like. So I just didn't like the representation of other women besides our heroine's best friends. We had the main female character calling other women bimbos in her head, and like she doesn't like that he sleeps around. And for me, it was just really ironic that she felt like that when she has a child because of a one-night stand. Like, I get it. Like, you don't like that he sleeps around and you did it one time and had a child, but still, I don't like hearing other women talked about like that. And the main conflict was another woman who was in love with him. So I didn't like it. It wasn't enjoyable with those parts. So overall, I liked what I liked. I didn't like the other parts. I do plan on reading the sequel because that one is Accidental Pregnancy. So I'm excited to read that one because that is actually the best friend of our tattoo artist with our female heroine's best friend. So it's going to be interesting reading their dynamic, and that book comes out, I think, sometime in the next couple months. So I will probably read that one when it comes out. For tropes on this one, it is age gap, single mom, himbo MMC, and found family. For our content warnings, we have derogatory remarks and opinions made about other women. Like I said, I just didn't like that part. For my next book, this one was No Holds Barred by Stephanie Nicole Norris. Now, this one I had heard, I want to say Crystal Bookish Life, talk about this one quite a while back. When it came up free on Kindle, I went ahead and picked it up. So it's been sitting on my Kindle for a while. With doing Read What You Own, I went ahead and pulled it up because I wanted to see how it was, and I overall liked the characters. I liked that they were instantly into each other. I liked that they instantly had like sexual tension. I did not like the terms used. To list them out, I do have a post on Instagram that I can link down below if y'all are interested to that. A preview to terms that were used in this book. We had wet cocoon and heated harbor. No, absolutely not. Are you kidding me? No. So I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable reading any more books by this author, just because I couldn't take that seriously. And if it keeps going on like that, like, no, I'm sorry, no. For the tropes in this one, we have it is insta-love, we have a billionaire main male character, we have older characters. I believe that they are both in their 40s. They are neighbors, and the representation of this, it is actually Black love. So again, like, I liked the characters, I liked the story. The sex scenes just took me out. I guess if I could just skip them, I could read the next ones, but I just don't know if I'm prepared. So for the content warnings on this one, we have accidental pregnancy. She has a stalker ex, and there is a hurricane / tornado that happens towards the end of the book for an outside conflict. Next, I read Choosing Theo by Victoria Aveline. This one is a alien romance where our heroine has been kidnapped from Earth and taken to this planet, and she is able to escape from her kidnappers and gets herself taken in by like these governing people of the planet who are able to give her protection. But along with that, they tell her that she basically needs to get married to be protected. Marriage in their society only lasts for 3 months unless the women decide that they want to extend the marriage. Basically, the woman has all of the control in the relationship, making the decisions whether they want to stay with the man or not. There is a very low birth rate in their society, so it is common for the women to get with a husband, have a child, and then leave the child with the husband and move on to taking a new husband. So fated mates is a thing that happens in this society, but they are believed to be lost. Like, there are no fated mates in the last 100 or so years. So this one does end up being a fated mate romance. Our hero is a grumpy grump, and he does not believe that our heroine actually picked him. He believes that she is a spy because he is like a mercenary, like a very well and highly regarded mercenary in their society, and he has like high clearance or something like that. So she thinks this is, or he thinks that this is all a setup, and she doesn't actually really want him. And so there is some groveling involved, not enough groveling in my personal opinion. But again, I enjoyed it. I like a grumpy hero. So this one ended up working out pretty well for me. Again, this is a read what you own, so I haven't picked up any more books in the series, but since they are in KU, I can go ahead and do that sometime soon. For tropes on this one, we have, again, this is an alien romance. Our heroine was abducted. This is distrust to love, and our hero is a scarred hero. He was involved in a fire when he was a child, so he has scars all over his body that when they heal, they actually look like tattoos to her. So there's a little bit of a misunderstanding there where like she thinks he's attractive because she thinks these tattoos are beautiful, and he thinks that she's just like mocking him for his scars. So it's a whole thing. For content warnings on this one, obviously she was kidnapped. There is instances of other women being captured. There is forced insemination of those other women. We have violence towards our main female character. This is not from our main male character. And then this one has a accidental pregnancy trope. So the next book, I would say this probably has to be my favorite read of January. This one is The Harpy and the Dragon by Marie Lipscomb. This one was not a read what you own. This one was one I saw on Instagram. Someone posted that it had pegging in it and it was morality chain, and I was like, gimme. Again, I'm reading the last book in the series without reading the previous books. But it ended up being fine with this one. Again, we got enough context, so I didn't feel like I was lost. This is like 10 years after whatever the previous books in the series were, which I think were 3 books on the same couple. So I don't like books that go on for the same couple, so I was fine just reading this one. I might go ahead and go back and read those at some point, but our hero in this one is actually the villain from those books. So he has been imprisoned for 10 years for what he did to the main characters in those books, and he meets our main female character when she is thrown into the dungeon for like striking the lord of the castle that she's working at. And so they meet in the dungeon, and she asks him what he was locked up for, and he's like, would you like a list chronologically or alphabetically or by like severity? So you can just see like how bad apparently he is. And this one is fairly dark. Like, they really do not care about anybody but each other. There's so much snarky banter. They are hilarious. How much they like irk each other, but then how much they care about each other deep down. It was super cute. I really enjoyed it. With this, we actually have a heroine who is about 10 years older than our hero. She has just recently turned 40, or is about to turn 40, and he has recently turned 30. So again, just a little bit of an age gap where she is older, and they just really care about each other. They really like spending time only with each other. They don't care about anybody else. They only want each other. They don't want children, which is great. And so they're happy just being with each other. The conflict in this one is that they escaped from prison and are on the run and just trying to keep each other safe, trying to keep each other alive. So there is a lot of content warnings in this one for murder, death on page. We have a scene where the main female character is whipped by someone who has come to capture them. And then we have scenes of suicidal ideation. So our hero, he basically just wants to go out in a blaze of glory. So for the tropes on this one, again, this one is morality chain. We have older main characters. We have a fat hero and a fat heroine. I love it. We have the older female character, and we have pegging. So that was fun. The next book I cannot really talk about, but I will mention the title. This one was The Conductors by Nicole Glover. So that one is a HarperCollins title. If you are not already aware, we are almost to 60 days in the HarperCollins strike. Last I heard, there were negotiations that were supposed to be taking place, but nothing has been resolved yet. So they are still asking that we as book reviewers do not promote these books. You can still purchase books from HarperCollins, just do not review them. I will go ahead and post any updates in the description down below, so do make sure to check that out to find out any updates that are currently going on with the strike. For my next book, look at me reading an arc that I got on NetGalley like a year ago. This one is Vanessa Jared's Got a Man. This one is by Laquette. This one has a absolutely stunning cover. And like, you can see the sexual tension between these characters on the cover. And I would say it didn't disappoint for me. Again, like I've said previously, I do not mind when the couple, like in the relationship where it's moving really quickly, and that was what it did in this book. Like, they meet, they instantly have an attraction, and they instantly are like around each other, start have this attraction, lean into this attraction, and then feelings come later. So it all happens within like less than 1 week. So again, it moves really quickly, so I think there's a lot of people who probably won't like it for that, but it worked for me. I enjoyed it. It was hot. So, and again, this cover is everything. So for tropes on this one is an interracial romance. Our main male character is Korean and our female main character is Black. We have a divorcee heroine. She was in an abusive relationship, and so she is still surviving from that. And then this one is a small town romance. For our content warnings, again, the main female character, she had a mentally abusive ex-husband, and so she's still healing from that. And the reason that our main male character actually reached out to our female main character is because the ex-husband is now engaged to his little sister, and she is only like 25 years old, so he's trying to protect his sister by getting the information out of our female main character. And then there are mentions of the sudden deaths of our main male character's parents, who died in a car accident years ago, so he had to basically raise his little sister from the age that she was 15 on. Sorry if the position changed. My dogs kept pushing open the door, so I had to go close those. But for the last book that I have finished for the month of January is Guardian Demon. This is the 4th book in the Hellbent series by Aurora Asher. If you watched my favorite books of 2022, you would have seen me talk about the 3rd book in this series, which is Demon with Benefits. That book is Meth and Iris. This book is Rom and Sunshine. In this one is a paranormal romance where our hero is a demon and our heroine is an angel. I will say I still think that Demon with Benefits is my favorite book of the series, and that Meth is my favorite male character of the characters so far in the series, but Sunshine is hands down my favorite female character. She is just a fascinating dichotomy of strength and purity and kindness, but she is also a badass in her own right, and you do not touch her man or the people that she cares about, because she will take you out. And she was so great to read. Like, I'm getting chills just thinking about her, because I seriously love her character so much. Like, of my top female characters, she may be like my top favorite female character of all time, because she has all of these sides to her, and she has no fear of like trusting of trusting people, and like seeing the good in people. But also, if you cross her, like, she is gonna hurt you, she is gonna cut you. And we have the enemies to lovers in here, because you got a demon and an angel going back to back. You have she tricks him into helping her steal something from another demon in hell, and they're having to work together, and they're sexually attracted to each other, and she doesn't understand why she's sexually attracted to him, because she's an angel. She shouldn't have these feelings. She's never had them before, but for some reason Meph is setting these off in her. I'm sorry, Rom is setting these feelings off in her, and she loves him, and she doesn't know what to do with these feelings, because it's a forbidden relationship. They shouldn't be together. And once Rom gets past that point of like her being an enemy, he is obsessed with her. Absolutely obsessed with her. And it was so hot. You guys, this was so freaking hot. This one does head towards like monster romance territory, because he is in demon form in quite a few of their interactions. So if you're not comfortable with that, be aware. But oh man, this was hot. So I need more people to read this series. If you've read this series and you want to talk about it, hit me up on Instagram, please. If you want to check out the first book and you aren't sure, let me know. We'll talk about it. Like, I just need more people to read the series, specifically so they can get to this book. Like, you will love Sunshine. She is a pure goddess, and I love her. I don't even think I talked about what the tropes are in this one. What were the tropes? So with this one, it is enemies to lovers. We have grumpy Sunshine. Sunshine is clearly the sunshine. And then we have there is a secret history, and there's a lot of traveling that is involved in this one. For the content warnings for this one, the list is pretty long. If I forget any here, you can check my post on Instagram where I listed quite a few of them out. But for this one, we have gore, body horror, including decapitation and dismemberment. We have death, murder on page. We have manipulation. We have blackmail, and we have forced memory loss. So lots of things to be aware of in this book, and honestly in this series in general. So they can get fairly dark, but there is a lot of humor in them. So again, take what you will. I highly recommend the series, definitely starting with My Funny Demon Valentine, which is book 1, or you can start with the prequel book, which is My Demon Romance, and My Demon Romance is available through signing up for her newsletter. It is just a cute, short demon romance of a romance author who writes about demons meeting an actual demon and falling in love with him. So I highly recommend the series. I highly recommend checking out Aurora, and she does have a book that is going to be published by, I believe, Red Tower Books here in the here sometime in 2023. So I'm sure y'all will hear about me talking about that one. But anyway, please read this series. And I know I've probably stated that 7 different ways in this video, but just go read it. Trust me. The last book that I have to talk about today is going to be Release by Ali Martinez. I am like 75% of the way through this book, so I do expect to finish it today or tomorrow at the latest. So I will probably have more to talk about with it, like with what my final ratings are. But right now it's probably sitting about a 4. This one has the tropes of childhood best friends to lovers, but there is the content warning that our female main character was sexually abused, and our main male character then went and took down her attacker, and he has been in jail for the last 13 years, and now they've been reunited, and he wants to set her free. So he is a big old dum-dum. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I have already cried quite a few times. Like I said, I feel like this is sitting right now at a 4-star. I don't think it's going to go any higher than a 4-star, but hopefully it doesn't go any lower than a 4-star. So we will see how I rate that. If you guys have any books that you read in January that you would recommend, go ahead and put those down there in the comments. If you do not have anything that you want to let me know about your reading, you can go ahead and leave me a rose emoji in the comments for Beauty and the Beast we've got right here. So I will see you guys next time. Happy reading!